Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom. Greetings, dear beloved brothers and sisters. Jah Rastafari. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the Image and Nation show with your host, Brother Leo Muhammad. And I am ably assisted by my beloved wife, Sister Claudia Muhammad, who you will hear from time to time, helping me in the background. Welcome, dear brothers and sisters, family members, friends, and even to those enemies. Brothers and sisters, we want to hear from you. We want to know where you are viewing us from, whatever part of the planet you are at. We want to hear from you. We want to know where you are in the world, and we want you to feed back to us how you feel about the Imagination show and what we are blessed to be sharing with you. Dear beloved family, this is what? Wow. This is episode 7, part 7 of the series that we've been running now for 7 weeks. Okay, and we're really hoping that this evening will be the last one. We are welcoming you to episode 37 of the Imagination show, part 7 of this wonderful, wonderful opportunity that I've been blessed to have to present this show. And the title that we've been running with for the last now 7 weeks is The Wheel Above Top Secret. And as always, dear family, I've got so much to get through, and I'm hoping and praying that I'll be able to get through everything this evening in order that maybe starting next week, we can get into a new subject matter, because there's so many things in truth in this world that we need to talk about. But I cannot emphasize enough that this is one of those subjects that is so, so important in terms of what is about to unfold on our planet and how this particular subject matter affects each and every one of us, and how this subject will affect the entire world of humanity. This is the reality of what I've been blessed to learn, and this is what I desire to share with all of you who tune in each and every week to the Imagination show. I don't want to mess around this evening. I really want to get into it because, like I said, there's so much to get through. So I want to begin this week by looking at a particular aspect of this, which at first glance may not seem so important, because we're going back now to 1805 or something like this, when this particular nursery rhyme was first written. But in truth, it has such tremendous significance, because if you just listen to these opening words, I'm not going to go through all of the words, but just listen to the opening words. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Now, you know, dear family, when the jeweler looks through his glass to look at the diamond, you know that he sees all colors and facets of colors, and depending on the coloration of the diamond can determine how many carats and how valuable that particular stone is. So I thought the word diamond was very, very important and very interesting because of the different colors that one can see in a diamond. But go back and think about twinkle, twinkle, little star. You're identifying that this is a star. You're saying twinkle, twinkle, little star. But then in the next breath, you're saying, how I wonder what you are. Because do we appreciate, dear beloved family, that stars don't twinkle, okay? Stars are lights that are coming from light years away that have been shining for hundreds of thousands of years. And basically, you see like the North Star, it's just a space in the sky, you see it. It's there. It's like a permanent feature. But what is it that you're looking at when you see something in the sky that's constantly changing color? Okay, goes from green to red to amber and back again, and other mutations of those colors, other combinations. I'm just suggesting to you that these are those baby wheels in what you might call geostation orbit around our planet, and we can see them twinkling away in the night sky. And I thought this was significant when I was looking at this particular nursery rhyme, that it should say, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are," because it's not a star. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. I thought that was a good way for us to begin our program this evening, looking at this subject matter, dear family, the wheel above top secret. And I want to really press as much as possible and see, just how much we can get through, so that we can really conclude this subject. But I can tell you from now that even though we may conclude the subject this evening, well, it doesn't mean that we've concluded the subject, because it's just too much. We could speak for another 7 weeks easily on this subject to never run out of things to say, and not necessarily even repeat ourselves, even though what you'll find is that I do repeat a lot of things in this particular program. Why? Because repetition is necessary in order for the truth, to be able to stick, and for us to really have that point drilled home. Because again, whether we appreciate it or not, we are constantly being bombarded with negative information, with lies, and a narrative which is really not the truth. And because we are constantly subject to this type of propaganda, we can't just put truth out there and say it once and think that that's going to undo all of the negativity that we've been exposed to all of our lives. So, dear family, so beloved, Imagination family, to conclude what has become a 7-part series on the wheel above top secret, we intend to focus almost exclusively on a final call newspaper article written by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, breaking down the significance and meaning to you, me, us, and the whole world of man and mankind. The article contains excerpts from a message delivered by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as part 52 of his lecture series, The Time and What Must Be Done. And, this is when you consider that the United States government has recently been admitting the existence of flying crafts, and that they often refer to as UFOs. And also, beloved family, we want you to appreciate that this part 52 of the lecture series, The Time and What Must Be Done, it's available in its entirety on MP3, DVD, and also CD. And you should call 1-866-602-1230, extension 200, or visit store.finalcall.com to order a copy, because that's how important the particular message is. And the Final Call and the Nation of Islam is really encouraging you to get your own copy. And so that number again, it's 1-866-602-1230, extension 200, or visit store.finalcall.com to order your copy. Dear family, the message from the minister reads, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad started learning and teaching of this great wheel called the mother plane around 1932. 10 years later, in 1942, after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, the temple, as it was called at that time, because we call it a mosque now, was raided by law enforcement officials under the guidance of the FBI. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's home was also raided, and the teachings that Master Farad Muhammad had left with him were taken from the home and the temple. Later, he was questioned by the FBI on the drawing of the wheel, and he's writing about it, and they had taken from the temple. Understand this, family. It's very, very important that you understand that right from the very beginning, the outset, the government were absolutely all over these teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the minister says, he explained to the government of the United States and to the FBI, one, its aim and purpose. It's talking about the wheel. He explained, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained to them its aim and purpose. Okay, because again, we've got to emphasize this. This is not a teaching that's under a table somewhere. This has always been up front, in your face, because this is the revelation of God. This is the reality of what it is that we're trying to share with you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained, two, who made it? Who made it? And three, why it is now above America. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it was a masterpiece of mechanics and engineering, and that nothing like this has ever been seen before. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it is the greatest military weapon ever developed in the annals of the history of Allah, God, and man in this universe. A military weapon. Again, it's important for you to understand that God is a warrior. God is not this milquetoast spook on a cloud somewhere that everybody wants us to believe God is. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he said that the vision of this wheel was seen thousands of years before it came into being or became a reality. He said that this weapon was made for the purpose of destroying this present world in the final battle with the forces of evil that had ruled our present world. Some of the prophets were given the ability to envision it and were terrified and overcome by the majesty of such a dreadful weapon that was the greatest mechanical object ever made. A masterpiece developed by the master to assert his mastery, that he had come to sit down the tyrants that had ruled humanity for 6,000 years and to set justice in the earth and to set up a kingdom of peace on this earth that would never be destroyed. Did you have something to share, Sister Claudia? Okay, well, I'm just going to pause. I'm just going to pause there because I want us to go into this next. Imagination, promoting and advertising goods and services for the benefit of our community. Please take note of the following and support, dear family. WYLA for boys and girls age 8 to 16, producing our future leaders. Visit www.wylauk.com. Brothers and sisters, if we are not dealing with our young people, dealing with our children, we are not guaranteeing any kind of future for ourselves. We must set up educational establishments for young Black people with no apology whatsoever to anyone else. This is how we will guarantee our future. Check out JJ Sorrel Products. Okay, check out at Sorrel 2020 and get yourself some sorrel cupcakes, some sorrel jam, sorrel drinks, and you will not be disappointed, dear family. That is at Sorrel 2020. Check out that page on Instagram, and make your order today. Dear family, Nature's Hair Products. Visit www.natureshairproducts.co.uk and try the beard oil, specifically formulated hair butters, and so much more from Nature's Hair Products. These products are awesome and all natural and will really help you, dear beloved family, to grow your hair and to, make your hair healthy, shiny, and bouncy. Give it back that vitality that is needed, rather than, putting all of these chemicals that many of us use on our hair, and we don't necessarily appreciate that it goes directly through the scalp and it affects our brain. We are living in a day and time when what is needed more than ever, dear family, is right guidance and the ability to think critically about life and death issues that are confounding and confusing the members of the human family. And while the servants of Almighty God Allah are trying to make him known, the enemy of God, who is Satan, is working around the clock 24 hours a day to keep the whole of humanity ignorant to the time and what must be done. There's a war going on. This is the point I'm trying to make, okay? There are those of us who are students in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, trying to make this truth known. But make no mistake about it, while we are doing that, 24 hours, 7 days a week, there is an enemy working to undermine any such information coming to the masses of the people. Let me continue with this article from the Final Call newspaper. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the Great Wheel was made for military purposes, for it was to engage in the great battle in the sky that would end this world and usher in that world that the prophets exclaimed would come at the end of the 6,000-year rule of the enemy of Allah God and the enemy of the aboriginal people of the earth. Did you know that you were a member of the aboriginal family? The term ab meaning to be abstracted from the father, from the originator. We are aboriginal people, dear beloved family. Scripture supporting prophecy, existence of the Son of Man and the Great Wheel. Dear family, in the scriptures of the Bible, we read that Moses was guided and protected by this cloud that was a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. But no such wheel was in existence in the time of Moses. So says the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in this article. So what we read of Moses and this cloud and the fire and light coming from this cloud to part the Red Sea and destroy Pharaoh's army did not happen like that 4,000 years ago, but that was a prophetic symbolic picture of the end of this world and the destruction of the armies of this world and the power that holds sway over the people. Again, this wheel that is sometimes called a chariot came down and picked Elijah up. I'm just, these are things that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is really showing us how to interpret the scriptures. When we read about chariots and Elijah being picked up and taken away in a chariot, this is really, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan doing a magnificent job here of explaining to us the meaning of these things and how we are to understand these things, and not think that these things are talking about some historical things that happened way back in time, but to really understand these prophecies being fulfilled today in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That did not happen with Elijah the prophet, but that Elijah in the book of 2 Kings was a sign of the Elijah that would come at the end of this present world. Dear family, I hope you're listening. The chariot that picked up Elijah, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9 to 12, and the cloud and the pillar that guarded and protected Moses. Exodus chapter 13, verses 21 to 22, and Exodus chapter 14, verses 19 to 31. You know, I do hope that when the Imagination show is about to start, that you do grab your pens and paper, and that you should have some kind of note taking facility there, family, because you know when I quote these scriptures from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you should be jotting down these scriptures there, family, and then you should be doing your own research and looking into the scriptures and beginning to get a much better understanding of what these things mean. Because you see, again, the point of this show is to help you to realize where we are in history, where we are in terms of the fulfillment of prophecy and what is about to happen. And we must not be ignorant in a day and a time like this. So once again, the Exodus chapter 13, verses 21 to 22, and Exodus chapter 14, verses 19 to 31, and the vision of Ezekiel of a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, that was so dreadful that he cried out in exclamation, "Oh, wheel, oh, wheel." Ezekiel chapter 10, verses 1 to 13. And the last person or prophet that a cloud or wheel is mentioned with is Jesus, but not again the historical Jesus. In the book of Acts chapter 1, the scripture teaches that some of the disciples saw Jesus going away in a cloud or in a wheel-like plane. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, "Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven." Listen to that scripture, man. It's saying that the same way in which Jesus is taken up into the heavens and he's received by a cloud and disappears in that way, in like manner will be his return. He'll be coming, dear family, in the clouds, displaying awesome power. Listen now, and it is written, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan continues, and it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, that the same Jesus that was seen going away in this manner will come back in like manner in the clouds of heaven. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Think about this. And why the tribes mourn when they see the coming of this great one? Do you know the kind of evil that's been done to the original man? Do you know the kind of evil that was done even to the personality of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Do you understand that they attempted to murder him just in the same way in which they've attempted to murder the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? No wonder some of these are mourning when they see the coming of this one. Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, men don't move about on clouds except in planes. Can you remember your last transatlantic flight? Can you remember being in that airplane, that 747 or whatever it was, 737 that we were flying in above those clouds or going through those clouds? That's the only way, dear family, that we as human beings traverse the clouds, okay? We don't grow little Kentucky Fried Chicken wings and start flying around in the clouds. It's talking about being in a vehicle, a plane, some mechanical device that we have built that transports us as human beings. Doesn't matter how intelligent we are, how powerful we are, how much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we have, we travel in flying vehicles. And this plane, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, is made like a wheel. not that it is a wheel, but it is made like a wheel, circular in motion, circular in make. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad in an August, this is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan quoting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad now. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad in an August 24, 1973 article in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper titled, O Wheel, Part 1. Messenger Muhammad's analysis of Ezekiel's wheel, he writes, it has been over 2,000 years since the revelation of the book entitled Ezekiel. The Bible scholars are a little confused over an exact date of Ezekiel's vision of the wheel. Some of the Bible scholars are actually doubtful as to whether or not there was an Ezekiel living or not. They arrive at their various conclusions concerning the book of Ezekiel and whether or not he was a living prophet or whether the book of Ezekiel is a vision of a prophet or not. Because of the style of the writing of the book, Ezekiel is called a priest in chapter 1, verse 3 of the book of Ezekiel in the Bible. Now let us look at this wheel. Since it really wasn't in existence during the time of Moses, who lived 4,000 years ago, it wasn't in existence in the time of Elijah in the 9th century before Christ. It did not exist during the time of this one named Ezekiel, and it was not in existence during the time of Jesus the prophet, but it would become a reality in the time of the one that Jesus prophesied would come after him in the last days of this present world. Dear family, I do hope you are following me because I gotta go fast. I can't go slow because there's so much information to get through. Dear family, Elijah and Moses prefigured not the prophet Jesus, but the great Messiah Jesus, who would come at the end of this present world, and the wheel would be with him. And this Jesus that is seen at the end of the present world is referred to in the language of the Son of Man. Just think about that. You know, when you're talking about the coming of God, you keep hearing the Son of Man. Why the Son of Man? Because he's the Son of a man, beloved. He's not a spook. He is the supreme being, a supreme human being among the human beings. This transfiguration means that the figure of God came across the person and character of Jesus so that God was sending himself through Jesus to the world. So this is the meaning of Messiah, a man in whom is the indwelling spirit of God himself. My goodness. Who is this Son of Man? This Son is born out of the longing of the original family to deliver them. Oh man, I wish we had the time because I would really want to stop at some of these points and break it down to you. But do you understand, dear family, that we are the ones who bring Jesus into existence based on our longing for deliverance? And the scripture is clear. He comes unto his own, but his own receives him not. We call for him. We desire a savior. We desire a redeemer. But when he comes, many of us, you know, based on what the enemy does in terms of deceiving us, many of us don't understand what we are looking at when he comes. Who is this Son of Man? This Son is born out of the longing of the original family to deliver them, because all members of the original family have longed to be relieved from the oppressive hand of this new people who are made to rule that have come on our planet. Ezekiel in the Bible is also referred to as the Son of Man. So if there is a question as to whether Ezekiel, 595 years before the prophet Jesus lived, yet there had to be a man that had a vision of this wheel, but he was not the reality of the fulfillment of it, which would come at the end of this present world. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that this Son of Man represents the coming of God in person, but he is coming out of the direction of the east, and he is journeying toward the west. Why should he come towards the west? Because it is in the west that the lost sheep or the people of Allah God would be. that had been delivered from a modern Pharaoh, a modern oppressor. My God, you understand the kind of oppression that we, the original man and the original woman, have been under over the last 400 years specifically, and 6,000 years generally. And the one, the minister continues, and the one that would come up from them is the Jesus, that the Jesus of 2,000 years ago prophesied would come in his name at the end of the present world. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says this great masterpiece of science and engineering and technology that the scientists of this world say the technology they have seen demonstrated in these wheels is millions of years ahead of themselves and what they know. Did you hear what I said? They didn't say that the technology that they've observed in these wheels are thousands of years ahead or hundreds of years ahead. They said millions of years ahead of them in terms of what they know. The wheel was made, dear family. The wheel was made on the island of Nippon, that is now called Japan. He said some of the finest brains of the original people were used in making this greatest object of military science. And this wheel, as it rose up from the earth, it came following the Son of Man from the east and now even onto the west. And this great wheel is sitting up above the United States of America, 40 miles out of the Earth's atmosphere in space. So the mountain that all these prophets went up into to get up to the wheel, it represents a powerful nation, where the science and wisdom of that nation makes it the pride of the nations of the earth, like a great mountain. And above America is the presence of that great wheel, the great mother plane. The two natures of the mother plane, referencing the 1973 Muhammad Speaks series. That's what we've been looking at, dear family, the 1973 Muhammad Speaks, the Final Call newspaper. Before it was the Final Call newspaper, it was Muhammad Speaks. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19, when Moses said to Pharaoh, I present before you this day two signs, one of life and one of death, one of blessing and one of cursing. He gave the people of Pharaoh and Pharaoh the chance to choose between life or death. And Moses encouraged Pharaoh to choose life, that you and your seed may live. So it is with that wheel that is above our heads, dear family. When you understand the two natures of the wheel, then the government and people of America and the people of the earth have to choose now between life and death, between blessing or cursing. This is the choice that's in front of us now, dear beloved Black brothers and sisters. This is so, so important. And I say this to all of the members of the human family, regardless of your class, creed, or color. This is the choice that is before you. The same way in which Moses gave Pharaoh that choice, you also have that choice today, the choice between a blessing or a cursing. The minister continues, and so it was with Elijah, so it was with Jesus the prophet. Every time these men came, the kings and rulers and the people of that day had a choice to make between life and death. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Jesus was the last prophet to the Jews. He offered them life and he warned them of the end of their civilization. Unfortunately, they rejected him and sought his death. So today, in the time of the presence of the great Messiah, you are offered again the choice between life and death, between blessing and cursing. Suffice it to say, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the wheel was made for the purpose of the destruction of this present world. I want you to hear what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. The wheel was made for the purpose of the destruction of this present world. The armies of the world, the rulers of the world, the people that go along with wickedness in this world, that's death. The wheel comes in the time of Elijah, in the time of a great and dreadful day, a day with two different dispositions. Muhammad Speaks newspaper, May 25th, 1973. In his article titled Ezekiel's Wheel, Mother Plane, Battle in the Sky, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad writes, the Bible and Holy Quran, both books refer to the final war between God and the devil that would be decided in the sky. The Caucasian people were given the authority and power and 6,000 years to rule us, the black nation of earth. But at the end of 6,000 years, there would be a great time of trouble and a great display of the signs of this final war between God and the enemy of God, the devil. These signs would serve as a warning to us and what we may expect. Dear family, I hope you are listening, because again, you keep hearing about UFOs, but when did you appreciate that UFOs are directly connected to God, that they are not unidentified flying objects, but they are the vehicles used by God and his angels? This should put a whole different perspective on your concept of the creator of the heavens and the earth, of God himself, and of what is about to go down on our planet. These signs would serve as a warning to us on what we may expect. And as we see today, these signs are coming to pass, and all of the other signs and prophecies of such signs appearing just around that time of the ending and destruction of the world, of evil and the enemy of God. And the displaying of these signs, and Jesus, as Jesus mentioned, some in the heavens and some of these signs on the earth, and the preparation to be made for a final battle between God and Satan and his minions, okay? Because Satan's got his people too, all right? And they're working overtime. The minister continues, the enemy has conquered both land and sea travel. The sea used to serve as a barrier against him, but now the enemy has conquered the sea. The enemy now can go over the surface of the sea in the worst of storms, and he can go through her with on-the-surface boats as well that you call submarines. And now the Caucasian has cast his eye into space, to the sky, to conquer it, and he's doing that. The enemy, having knowledge of what they may expect today, is spending billions of dollars on space travel. He has now brought the moon to him and has seen some of the stars. But the main thing, I guess you are thinking, is, can he win against Allah God? If Allah God and his prophets have foretold the outcome of this battle of the sky, is it possible for the enemy to win? What makes it impossible for them to win is because they have not the power of the forces of nature, while the power of the forces of nature is in the hand of Allah, making it impossible for the enemy, Satan, the devil, the wicked, to win in a war of this sort. No, he continues by stating the enemy cannot win against the God on earth. So why waste billions of dollars to fight against the God who has power over the heavens and the earth? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad continues in his writings, asking the question, why all of this hurry to try to ascend into the heavens for a close-up peek into the planets when you are destined to be defeated? Both book, Bible and Holy Quran, prophesy of a great defeat for you. The Holy Quran refers to the heavens as being a guarded canopy and warns you that they have a flame waiting for you. In the Holy Quran, chapter 72, verse 8 to 9, and we sought to reach heaven, but we found it filled with strong guards and flames. And we used to sit in some of the sitting places thereof to steal a hearing. But he who tries to listen now finds a flame lying in wait for him. Now, this is directed to the National Security Agency. You know that National Security Agency, the one that Edward Snowden exposed as snooping on everybody's private conversations around the globe? Well, this is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says. He says, now this is directed to the National Security Agency, NSA, of the United States government that has developed a way of listening in on everyone and everything, the universal snooper, as Almighty God Allah, through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, calls him. And that also applies to GCHQ in this country and all of these spy agencies who are constantly spying and listening to everybody's private conversations and absolutely keeping a file on humanity. But, says the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but he says, but oh, NSA, you are trying to get a hearing on that exalted assembly, but you will find waiting for you a flame. Oh my goodness, brothers and sisters, I do hope you are listening to what we have to share with you tonight, because as I said, we could talk on this for another 7 days and then some, but we have to end at some point, and we just want to make sure that you are left in no doubt about the relationship between God and all of this UFO talk that you constantly hear, but none of us have ever been able to put it together and to understand the reality of what this thing is really all about. At this time, let's check out a few more of our sponsors, dear beloved family. Don't forget, visit www.natureshairproducts.co.uk and try the moisturizing hair and scalp oil, as well as beard oil and other natural hair products. Check it out, dear family. If you want to take care of your hair, there is no other place to go but Nature's Hair Products. Also, check out the tribe. Visit www.tribenation2019.com and pick up one of their beautiful garments that they have designed for your wear, for your apparel. Also, look at Nia's Bean Pie. Visit Instagram at Nia's Bean Pie or call 07956 127 975. That's 07956 127 975, and pick up your bean pie. Order your bean pie and it will be delivered to your door. Okay, it is a sweet that's healthy all at the same time. Pick up your bean pie, dear family, at Nia's Bean Pies. Also, dear family, the summer is here and we want to wear garments that reflect how we feel about ourselves. And so pick up one of our Proud to be Black t-shirts. Okay, visit www.p2bb.uk or londonstudygroup19.org and order your Proud to be Black t-shirts, caps, and mugs. And say it like you mean it. P2BB, in other words, dear family, proud to be Black. That's what we have to be. When you understand, you know, some people might think, oh, this is some kind of arrogant thing to say something like that. No, when Black has been put down, when Black has been made something negative and derogatory, many of our people, even in this modern time, when they hear the term Black in reference to ourselves, they cringe and they get scared. Oh my God, I'm not Black, and we want to run away. No, dear family, Black is not something to be ashamed of. Black is something to embrace. Black is something to fall in love with. Black is power. Black is beautiful. Don't forget, brothers and sisters, visit our YouTube channel, the Nation of Islam London Study Group, new LSG, like, share, subscribe. I want to see those thumbs up. Okay, dear family, subscribe to the channel and click the donation button to help us to continue what we are doing in this endeavor. Dear brothers and sisters, I feel like I'm going so fast, but the time is going fast, and I really want us to get through everything that we have to share with you this evening. And most of it, as I said, almost exclusively, we are reading words from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he is quoting the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, for me, the mere thought of me being able to express the words, God has come. And in the same breath, UFOs or UAPs are no longer unidentified, with the full confidence of one who believes in what has been taught and knows in his heart and mind without fear of contradiction. Dear family, the truth of these words give me chills and goosebumps because of all the subjects in dispute and on the polarizing debate on our planet. These are the two most serious and profound issues for all of us to contemplate. These two issues, the issue of God, the reality of God, and UFOs, come on, man, ain't nothing more deep and profound than that. And we need to understand, dear beloved family, that this is really, really, really important for us as a people to get a proper handle on, in order for us to understand what is about to go down and what we should do in the circumstances of what God is about to do to the enemy. Dear family, continuing in this article, the Bible also prophesies in the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible, that fire was used to destroy the enemy after they ascended on the breath of the earth, which is called air. So we see them going up on the breath of the earth daily. This is you see the white man, he's flying everywhere, okay, and he's going out there into space. What is their plan for wanting to land on the moon, since they know they cannot make the moon their home? This is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The enemy would have to continue to live off the earth, air, oxygen, and hydrogen. The earth would still have to produce all their food for them. So it is useless to think of any planet other than the earth as a home for the people of the earth. Then why are they spending billions of dollars just to go and look at these planets or try to land people on the moon? What are their plans for Mars and Venus, since they cannot live on these planets? Do they think these planets serve as great fortifications of God and they could cast their bombs on these planets and destroy them? Or do they fear attacks upon themselves coming from these planets? No, this is not necessary. The enemy is not that great in the eyes of Allah God. The earth has all the weapons necessary to destroy this enemy. And this enemy, Satan, cannot leave the earth's surface unless it pleases Allah God. Do you understand, dear family, that everything that the enemy has even done, he was given permission to do it, and that there's nothing that he can do today unless it's the will of God, unless God allows it? Come on, man. I just need you to understand the fight and what it looks like. Allah God has power over the very life vein of the body. Allah has power over the brain cells of our body. Just what do they have in mind in wanting to go to the moon, since they cannot live there for very long? Even when they get there, it is very expensive to feed and water people on the moon. Through quite a bit though quite a bit can be carried there, but what do they have in mind? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad then writes, do they think that they could fight God from the moon? Do they think they could attack the wheel from the moon? Just remember the old Bible prophecy in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, the 15th verse. Though may ascend above the clouds into the heavens, but yet will I bring thee down to the sides of hell. Or you may go on the bottom of the sea, and that they are doing today. The Holy Quran further says that whenever God gets ready to destroy a people, he opens up the heavens for them and gives them the pleasure of what they seek or lust after, and then he destroys them. The Holy Quran further prophesied that the heavens would be open to this people and the veil of every secret would be removed. This prophecy does not mean that the enemy will, after that, be able to win against God in a battle between them and God. Muhammad Speaks newspaper, June the 8th, 1973. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad continues his writing on the wheel in the article entitled Ezekiel's Wheel, the Battle in the Sky. In the battle in the sky, it is scientifically clear that the wheel, the mother plane, will be the victor due to the fact that nature has given anyone the advantage over the other. If the other is not able to produce the type of weapon that is needed to overcome the attack of that one enemy. When the prophet Ezekiel saw this battle in the sky and saw the wheel, the mother plane that would be the victor, this has encouraged us, the Black nation, to have confidence in the victory of that wheel, that great mother plane that is above our heads over the United States of America. And remember, dear family, when we say the United States of America, remember America and Britain are one, okay? And the fate of one will be the fate of the other because they are one and the same. When the prophet Ezekiel saw the vision of this wheel, mother plane, Ezekiel became a little excited in his words. Ezekiel said, "O wheel, O wheel." And Master Farad Muhammad, our savior, affirmed it. The wheel, the mothership, is one of the greatest wonders of man. In making military weapons, the Black scientists knew at the time that they built the mothership under the direction of Master Farad Muhammad, that the mothership and its well-trained crew would have to fight with her, America, and the other nations of the earth. The well-trained crew of the mothership, the wheel, can dodge the enemy and make the enemy look for the wheel where the wheel is not. As the word goes, the crew of the wheel can elude the enemy anywhere in the sky that this crew desires to elude them. So when actual fighting has been declared against the armies of the wicked of this planet, the enemy will never get near enough to do any harm to that wheel. Actually, the mothership, the wheel, serves as a carrier for 1,500 deadly prepared planes with which to visit mankind on planet Earth. Do not look for the wheel, he writes, the mother plane, because it is not out there for you to find it when you are looking for it. Elijah Muhammad continues in that article, "I am so happy that Allah God has prepared this unmatchable weapon to save us, the Black people of America. It carries supplies for the crew of this made wheel-like plane. It is something to marvel at. The battle in the sky, as the Black man has been on the planet Earth for billions and trillions of years." I'm going to read that bit again because I want you to understand. The battle in the sky, as the Black man has been on the planet Earth for billions and trillions of years. No, you didn't hear wrong. We have been here for billions and trillions of years. And the Black man has been here that long, and there is no doubt about it. Do you think that the Black man would allow the made man, the enemy that has been on the planet Earth for only 6,000 years, to outwit the Black nation and the God of this nation in any war, whether it be physical or mental? Then he writes, "If I were the Caucasian, I would just go out and not try to fight an old ancient people who were here before the father of your people, Yaqub, even thought of making a new people, the Caucasian race." There is plenty that we will be discussing about this wheel in the battle in the sky. Remember the words of the scripture. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Not the prophet Jesus of 2,000 years ago, but that one that would rise from us in the last days and be taken up into the wheel with the great Mahdi. Yes, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad continues, every prophecy of prophets, prophesying of destruction, is aimed at America, this dreadful and awful trouble that is divinely focused at America. I say to you, my Black brothers and Black sisters, seek refuge in Allah, fly to Allah, and come follow me. to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the God that he represents. He closes with the end of the war. Desolations are determined. Desolations are determined. Remember this. Keep waiting with your disbelief and doubt, and you shall soon come to know that what Elijah Muhammad has said to you and written in his articles and books to us is most certainly the truth. Swing low, sweet chariot, the destructive power of the wheel above our heads. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in an article titled The Battle in the Sky is Near, also appearing in Muhammad Speaks, he writes of the wheel, the mother plane, in these words: it is the largest mechanical man-made object in the sky. It is a small human-built planet made for the purpose of destroying the present world of the enemies of God. The cost to build such a plane is staggering. The finest brains were used to build it. If I remember correctly, the sum that has been quoted in the past in terms of what it cost to build the mother plane was $15 billion in gold. $15 billion in gold. And that was in the 1920s. Just think about that kind of money, dear family. It is capable of staying in outer space 6 to 12 months at a time without coming into the Earth's gravity. It carries 1,500 bombing planes with the most deadliest explosive, the type used in bringing up mountains on the Earth. The very same method is to be used in the destruction of this world. The bombs are equipped with motors, and the toughest of steel was used in making them. This steel drills and takes the bombs into the Earth at a depth of 1 mile, and is timed not to explode until it reaches 1 mile into the Earth. This explosion produces a mountain 1 mile high, destroying everything within a 50 square mile range or radius. Not one bomb will fall into water. They will all fall on cities, as Ezekiel saw and heard in his vision of it. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 10, verse 2, that this wheel is terrible. It is seen, but do not think of trying to attack it. Elijah Muhammad writes, that would be suicide. He continues, with the small circular made planes called flying saucers, which are so much talked of being seen, could be from this mother plane. This is only one of the things in store for the enemy's evil world. Believe it or believe it not. This is to warn you and me to fly to our God and people. These wheels have been seen since 1929, and they have not attacked any city or anyone. We are talking about the destructive power of the wheel, yet to many, they have been harmless. They have not attacked one city, but they have been seen over the cities of the earth. Millions have seen them, and they have hovered over the most sensitive military bases of every nation that has nuclear weapons, and they have shown their power to neutralize these dreadful intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, that are loaded with nuclear power. Yet one of these wheels can come over the place where these silos are and where these missiles are, and these missiles cannot be fired. In fact, they can do what they have done, render these things inoperable. And when they leave, they can restore it to its original condition. The scientists that made these intercontinental ballistic missiles thought of every possibility that could render these missiles inoperable. And yet they felt that it was foolproof. And then a wheel came over the place and where these missiles were and showed them that they had no power to move those missiles at all. Just the presence of the wheel has stopped automobiles from moving, turned the lights of whole city or regions off. They have incredible power that God is showing you, that they can take you out in the twinkling of an eye. No wonder Ezekiel cried out when he saw the magnificent masterpiece of mechanics. I will say it again, I will state it again, and this time it's coming from my mouth. Oh wheel, oh wheel. You know, our people in slavery used to sing a song, swing low, sweet chariot, coming to carry me home. It was a band of angels coming after me, coming to carry me home. In the book of Ezekiel, it talks about these wheels and the cherubims, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it only means the presence of angels on these wheels. Angels that are human beings. So in the Bible, it teaches, be careful how you entertain strangers, for you may be entertaining angels unaware. That's found in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 2. No little green men with olive skin and funny looking heads, human beings that look just like you and me, but they are members of the original nation, the power of which you have not seen displayed. It was your time to rule, and you have not even the brains to build a mechanical object like that which is above your heads. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if you build one like it, you could not get it up into outer space. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked the question, why are you spending billions of dollars, wasting your money to fight a war that it is written you were born to lose from the day you were made? He said, if I were you, enemy, I would just give up. You know that's wise, because whenever you meet a force that you can't overcome, you give up. In the mixed martial arts, when you cannot overcome the force that is pressing you, you tap out. America, you can't win this one, tap out. Why waste the taxpayers' money building planes when you have nothing that can attack this? But it can attack you anytime it desires. The Jesus is connected to the wheel. His movements are like the movements of the wheel. When you think he's here, he's there. When you think he's there, he's here. When you think he's up, he's down. The wheels move like that. There is nothing in existence that you have that can stop on a dime, go north, go south, go east, go west, go up, go down, and then move so fast that it's almost like they're moving at the speed of light. Not that they are, but their movement is so fast. Now you see them, now you don't. And this is why, my beloved Black brothers and sisters, the scriptures warn us that vengeance is mine. God says in Romans chapter 12, verse 19, in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, God says to his people, be still and know that I am God. I am your defender. I am your protector. Vengeance is mine. Brothers and sisters, what do you look like with your little pop gun when God has a weapon above your head that is for you and my deliverance? Swing low, sweet chariot. Our old ancestors sang it because they knew that this was not their home, but God would take them to their home. If you are thinking, but if it is only a half mile by a half mile, how are we all going to fit in it? It wasn't made for us all to fit in it, but the earth is a wide expanse for you to fit in it. And the wheel, after it finishes its work, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you will have much space for you to move out and make a way for yourself. Because when that wheel gets finished its work, there won't be, unfortunately, much human life left on the planet Earth unless the leaders choose life. Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan, the capstone of UFO studies. In closing, I have talked to many ufologists and they know nothing about the destructive side of the wheel. Let me just check the time. How are we doing for time? Wow. Wow. And they know nothing about the destructive side of the wheel, because in their study of the wheel, they never saw that, nor have they ever known that. And that is why Professor Michael Lieb, in his book called The Children of Ezekiel, included the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad, and Louis Farrakhan. Professor Lieb is a professor of English and a research professor of humanities, also a senior fellow at the Divinity School at the University of Chicago. During an October 16, 2003, one-on-one interview with the Final Call newspaper to the question, tell us about your book, Children of Ezekiel, in which you include Minister Farrakhan, Professor Lieb's response was, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan represent the capstone to this study of so-called UFOs. What is the meaning of capstone? It is the crowning point. It is the most important element. It is the decisive factor. All of the scholars that talk about these UFOs, they talk, but they don't know the reality. They don't know the aim. They don't know its purpose, but they know something about it after observing it, after studying it, but they believe it comes from somewhere else. So why are the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan the capstone of that study? The scientists of this world, the scientists of the world think that it's from someone, somewhere else other than Earth, because they have never seen from any scientist of any nation on Earth the ability to produce what they have been observing and studying. In their minds, they are the masters of the earth and its people, and they know of no one that could produce what they have been looking at from this planet. So they call these wheels extraterrestrial. Well, the Bible teaches Satan deceived the whole world, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that 98% of the people of the Aboriginal people have been mastered. But from the 2% that they have not mastered has come that which is above their heads. It is the clearest sign. If you say that the technology is so far ahead of you that the scientists are already bowing and admitting that they are absolutely overcome, dumbfounded, amazed, awestruck, and astounded by the majesty of the wisdom being displayed by the wheel, then why don't you want to admit then that one, Allah God is present, and two, God is the most wise? And since you don't have any wisdom to match that, then the most wise is present. Since you have no power to reach it, but it has the power to reach you anytime it desires, then know that a superior or supreme power is present. Then why won't you admit that God has entered into the equation, fulfilling everything that has been prophesied of the coming of God? Brothers and sisters, I really hope you're listening. The coming of the great Mahdi and the presence of the Christ, the presence of the Messiah. So as you are trying to find the meaning of these UFOs, you talk to your scholars, but they didn't know that this existed before Elijah Muhammad taught it, before they ever saw it. Well, why don't you come to the man that God taught about this? The FBI did, but they act as though it doesn't exist. They hide the knowledge of this from the American people. They refuse to tell the American people what they know about the existence of that great wheel and the 1,500 little wheels that are inside the great wheel. The capstone with the all-seeing eye represents God's search of the earth for his people, the lost sheep that he would find and restore and make them the head and not the tail. The capstone of the pyramid of knowledge sitting on top of the knowledge of this world. I say to you, you can't complete or perfect anything that you've done or desire to do without the knowledge of that wheel and the science and technology that's in it, on it, and coming from it. Professor Lieb, in his interview with the Final Call, further states that when it comes to the Nation of Islam, it's a study of the mother plane and its apocalyptic overtones. What did he mean, apocalyptic? Apocalyptic means describing or prophesying the complete destruction of the world, resembling the end of the world, momentous or catastrophic, of or resembling the biblical apocalypse. And no one on this earth is speaking like that but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his minister, Louis Farrakhan. Dear family, my God, I don't know, man. I really don't know if you get it. I don't know if you really understand, how powerful and how profound this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is. But I've tried to do my best over the last 7 weeks to really share with you just some elements of this knowledge. And I do hope that you appreciate that there is just so much that we need to know today in order to survive what's coming on our planet, and in order to really identify, the protagonist, to identify the God, to identify the devil, the enemy, to identify who we are as a people and who other people are. Dear family, as we reach our conclusion, I've tried to share different voices. We had Brother Ilya Rashad and others that we've shared throughout the 7 weeks, talking about the wheels. And before we close out this evening, I want to share another voice I want you to hear, because you see, the more I think you hear different voices from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, bearing witness, okay? This person who is about to speak to us, she's a lawyer, she's an absolute powerhouse in the nation of Islam. And I've heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan describe her as second only to him when it comes to giving these teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I really want you to listen to our beloved sister, because what she shares here is some of what you've heard already, but really she makes it very, very plain again. And it's very, very powerful when we understand about the wheel and what the wheel represents, and how the type of attitude that we need to have towards the wheel, and what it means and what it's talking about when it comes to Black people and who we are. We are not this milquetoast people who are just going to be victimized and, just have other people just treat us like we're nothing. We are powerful warriors, man. We come from a long line of kings and queens, and in truth, the only true royal family, which is the family of God. And so please listen carefully to our beloved sister Dr. Ava Muhammad, as she breaks down in a brief way some elements again about the wheel before we close out this evening.
Which brings me now to the portion of this discussion on the mother plane. If you have any doubt, beloved, about the capability of the Black nation to go to war with the flesh devil, the Caucasian, then let me describe to you what we have in the physical world to deal with this beast. The mothership was made in Japan in 1929, and it took flight that year. It was seen in 1930 and reported in the Chicago Tribune. It was built by original scientists who made parts, but only Allah knew what the end result would be before it was completed. The purpose of the mothership is to destroy America. It is a display of the power of Almighty God Allah. It is oval-shaped, and it is 1/2 by 1/2 miles, 2,640 feet. It travels at a maximum speed of 9,000 miles per hour and can circle the entire planet in 2.7 hours. It can go in 2 directions at once. The mothership will set America on fire, and the fire will burn everything, including the atoms in the atmosphere. America will burn for 390 years, then she will undergo a cooling off period of 610 years. This will total 1,000 years. The mothership is not indestructible. The devils have weapons that could destroy the mothership, but they will never get close enough to her, nor can they target her in the sky long enough to shoot at her and make the target. The scientists who man the ship read the minds of white America even before the thoughts materialize. If any of the devil's planes get close enough to her, she will destroy them first before they destroy her. She moves 8,000 miles faster than the earth moves around the sun. Destruction comes after all original people have heard the word. I repeat, destruction comes after all original people have heard the word. And that is just about done if it's not already done. Just before the final destruction, the scientists will drop leaflets which will read, quote, "You have 8 to 10 days to come home." You should read Ezekiel 1, 16, 18, and 19 through 21, and you should read Zechariah chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Now the mothership is beryl, B-E-R-Y-L, that's her color. That's a bluish green with a rainbow appearance. The mothership can travel 40 miles out of the Earth's sphere. She rotates in 6 to 12 months and comes down into the atmosphere annually to refuel. She lets out long tubes and sucks in oxygen like a vacuum cleaner. The scientists and the brothers who are on the plane are each trained to hit certain spots in America. They are 100% bent on the destruction of America, and they have been in Islam since they were taken aboard at the age of 6 in the 1930s. The mothership has 1,500 airplanes inside of her. Each plane carries 3 bombs. There is a brother to pilot each one of these planes. Each bomb drills into the earth on impact. Each bomb weighs 2 tons and will go 1 mile down into the earth. They will penetrate anything that is in the way. When the bomb reaches 1 mile down, it explodes. Then it kills everything within a 50-mile radius of where it hit. It releases a poisonous gas that has the power to destroy anything living. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad writes in The Fall of America, "The mother plane was made to destroy the world of evil and to show the wisdom and mighty power of the God who came to destroy an old world and set up a new world." Here are some quotes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the mother plane from the Theology of Time. Allah taught me that they have the same type of dynamite in the bomb that they used to make mountains on the earth. The bomb goes into the earth like an air hammer. It does not explode until it gets into the earth. This is what was used to bring up Mount Everest. It is more powerful than the American bomb. America uses 30% dynamite, but these people on the mothership use a bomb that is equipped with 100% dynamite just to blast up a few mountains. It will kill people 50 miles around and push up mountains on each side. It will go into action when America starts using her high explosives. This thing will come out and get them. 1,500 of these bomber planes carrying 3 small bombs each. Each plane will take these bombs over an area and drop them. They will destroy for 150 miles from where they are dropped. He says, quote, "I have seen that plane. It is powerful. It can dart in the sky just like a flying saucer. Right through the middle is a wheel which measures 1 mile. So Allah told me. This plane can move about in space so wisely until white people cannot shoot it out of the sky. You will see this plane. It has a civilization on it. They stay up there sometimes from 1 year to 1.5 years. It is a wonderful and dreadful plane. The day it is seen in America, you should make haste and run to some post. There will be 2 scientists on every block, guiding you, telling you where to go. You'd better make haste and get to a post. This is a terrible thing. You can do this yourself," and he's speaking now of the fact that those who pilot the plane can read thoughts. And he tells us that we can do this ourselves if we take the time and go someplace where we can concentrate. He says, after a while, you will be able to hear. It is not that we are such a people that we have to wait until something happens before we know what is going on around us. I wish to end this discussion with two quotes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. God has chosen you. You have a great divine mission. He says this is a war of minds, and the battle is raging. In a state of war, if you fall back and turn away, you are guilty of treason. I would not like to see such a charge on anyone, especially after the clear evidence of the true and living God has come to you. We pray Allah that those who hear the truth will accept it and will live by it. Once you accept it, you have to live it. If you don't live it, you will soon become dead to the truth. End of quote. May Allah bless all of us with the light of understanding as I leave you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, brothers and sisters, I don't know, man. I pray to Allah that we were listening. I pray that we understand the serious nature of this message. I pray that we understand that when truth comes, we have an obligation to the truth. When that truth resonates with you, you can't ever pretend or act like you didn't hear it. It requires action. It requires us to do something about what we have heard and what we know. And so I appeal to us, dear family. We are the people of God. We are the righteous, regardless of what we are currently doing. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that we are righteous by nature, evil by circumstance. But once we know that we have the ability to change our circumstances and return to our nature, which is the righteous, the people of God, then there is a punishment for us when we go contrary to our nature, when we know better and we continue to do evil and misdeeds and to wallow in disbelief. There is a consequence for this. And so, dear family, I pray that, you've taken the somber nature of this message into your hearts and into your minds, that you're thinking. I do suggest that you're going to need to go back over this particular talk, this particular episode of the Imagination Show, part 37, or should I say episode 37, part 7 of the Wheel Above Top Secret, because there was a lot of information that we had to get through, and I doubt very much if you were able to make the notes in real time. So I would suggest you need to go back over, and I would suggest that you should invite those that you care about, your friends and family members and loved ones, and invite them, dear family, to visit the Nation of Islam London Study Group website and, revisit these lectures and determine what you want to do, and contact us. Those of you who want to become members of the Nation of Islam, we're waiting for your contact. We're waiting for your call. We're waiting for your email. We're waiting for you to make a determination that you want to be part of God's people again. You want to be a people who are in the vanguard of our own liberation. We look forward to those communications. And next week, we'll move into another subject. And maybe just before we do that next week, we'll finish off with a little compilation that we wanted to show this week, but we haven't got the time in relation to the wheels. And so, dear family, the majority of people on our planet have not necessarily seen the headquarters mosque in the Nation of Islam, Mosque Mariam. But that fact does not make the mosque non-existent. The same principle and logic should be applied to the mothership and its 1,500 baby wheels and the master of these flying vehicles. Just because you've not yet seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I would appeal to you, dear family, to think about all of the testimonies that you've heard over the last 7 weeks and to really question, do you think that we're liars? Do you think that we're just making up stories? Do you think that this is some fanciful, delusional ideas that we have as members of the Nation of Islam? Or do you recognize the truth as it resonated with you? Does it make sense that God is not a spook, that God would have to have the power to be able to deal with powerful entities that possess nuclear weapons, that possess F-15 and F-16 jet fighter planes, that possesses howitzer, field artillery, and you name it, they've got weapons, they've got laser weapons, they've got so many weapons, they've got chemical weapons, biological weapons. Do you really think that a spook God could deal with that kind of reality? Or would not God have to be an absolute warrior himself with superior firepower, superior knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? Just think, let's reason together, man. Because this is the God that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has represented to us, and this is the God that we're attempting to represent to you. I really want to thank you, dear beloved family, those of you who are with us on a regular basis, those of you who are brand new to the Image and Nation show. We invite you to come back. We invite you to support. We invite you to invite others and to share our videos, to send them around, okay, so that we can build up this particular platform and that we can become an organ of truth for our people. That's what we desire to do. We desire to share what we have learned and what's benefited us with you, that you too might benefit, that you too might be put into a position where you are self-determined, where you are a person who is able to do for yourself, where once again we can become the successful people that God has birthed us to be. And so I thank you. I pray that Allah will bless each and every one of us, as our dear sister Ava Muhammad would say, with the light of understanding. I pray that Allah will bless us with that light of understanding. As I greet you, as I found you in the greeting words of peace, Assalamu alaikum. Sister Claudia, is there anything that you wanted to share with us before we close out for the evening?
Assalamu alaikum, family. I pray that you're all well. It feels a bit heavy.
Does it feel heavy today?
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It feels a bit heavy.
It was heavy. It is heavy.
Yes, it feels
It is heavy.
Yes, the reality.
Yeah, especially the way our sister Ava, you know, dropped that last segment on us. She wasn't playing. She's just laying out the actual facts.
It felt like that film you showed at the beginning.
The space traders.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, make a decision.
As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end.
That's right. Okay, family. I just want to say thank you to our brothers and sisters from Flint, Michigan. Thank you. DJ Mr. P. Thank you for our family in the Biafra. Nightshade, thank you from South Africa. Thank you for our family in Buckeye, Arizona. Thank you, family in Jersey City and Durham, North Carolina. Thank you for Rastaman in Suriname. Family,
Wow.
Our family in Birmingham.
South America.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, family in Cardiff, Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you, DC Precise, for your comments. And thank you, Brother David Muhammad, for your comments. Thank you for our Zoom followers. Thank you, YouTube. And thank you all for your time. We know how, we all have things to do, but we really appreciate you taking your time to support us to help Minister Louis Farrakhan. And thank you once again. Have a blessed evening. Stay safe and look out for the baby planes.
That's right. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much, beloved. Thank you, dear beloved brothers and sisters. May the Creator take care of you and protect you until the next time, inshallah. If he spares our life, we'll be back here next week, Thursday, 6:30, same time, same place.
With a special video.
Yes, to start the show next week. Be on time, family. To start the show next week, we want to play you something quite special, and then we will go into our next subject matter, inshallah.
I didn't thank someone from Zimbabwe as well.
Zimbabwe?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe is in the house as well.
And Los Angeles.
And Los Angeles, wow. The city of lost angels.
Thank you, family.
Thank you so much, beloved family. Take care. Love you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.